Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Card Dad. We've got special guest Rick Probstein is here today. We're going to talk all things Snype. Snype, the new platform coming in, the new kid in town, but has a lot of fancy features and gadgets and some really efficient stuff. So we're going to talk through that. Rick, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Dustin. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Exciting times. Exciting times. So just so people, they may or may not know this yet, I know we've talked about it, but it's fairly new news. Is that the plan is that you will be moving off of eBay towards the end of October, and then Snype launches in November, is my understanding?
Yeah, that's correct. The last day that we're going to sell any items on eBay will be October 23rd. And we think it's important for people to have a definitive date to know when we're coming off the platform. And then thereafter, the beginning of November, we're launching full-time on Snype.com.
Snype.com. Okay. Also keep note of that too. Snype.com. And that's with a Y. The first thing that a lot of people have said, and I think this is with any new auction platform, anybody that's trying to come in new, is shill bidding. It's always, and this is a forever thing. This is not new. And it's something that all auction houses have to deal with. And now you're taking this on with the platform. I want to just dive into, you've looked at this 1,000 different ways, and this is how you came up with Snype. What sorts of things do you have in place just to curtail the problem of shill bidding when it pops up?
So I have a famous nickname, Shillstein. We were going to actually name the website shillstein.com, but we thought that, Snype might be more apropos. No, it's important to address this. Now, first off, in terms of the shill bidding accusations with us, I had one guy who was just like killing us online. You shill. I said, dude, why don't you come to my office? You can interview all my employees privately. I will give you full access to all of our computers, all of our files, and you will see that we run 700,000 auctions a year, and we are not bidding on our own auctions. Obviously the guy didn't take me up on it. So there is, people protecting the marketplace. It's happening in the industry, but we have basically designed the new platform to sort of like circumvent shill bidding, and I'll explain how. So we have two different types of bidders: a regular bidder and what we call a super bidder. Now we will have auctions that are only super bidder only. So let's say you have a $20,000 item that you're putting up for auction. On some other platforms, you can have an instance where somebody can come in and win the auction with two feedback, and then they don't pay. We've all probably seen it happen. Some of us have maybe have it directly happen to us. And the problem is that person with two feedback should not be able to just come in out of the middle of nowhere and bid on a $20,000 item or even a $1,000 item. So all of our super bidders will be vetted. They're going to have to provide an industry reference. We're going to research the accounts. Many of these people, we have a 5-year, a 10-year, or 20-year relationship with them in terms of them bidding on our items previously. So they will be pre-approved bidders. And then new bidders that are coming in that aren't considered super bidders, they can bid and take place on the platform, but they will not have access to bidding on whatever they want.
Okay. So you almost have to work up to the super bidder status.
Yes and no. Yeah, it's a quick application to become a super bidder, and then the super bidders will also get other benefits. Some dealing with authenticity, some dealing with payment, but there will be other benefits to being a super bidder as well, beyond just being able to bid on specific auctions.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
And you also, I had seen the demo, and we're going to look at a demo a little bit later, but the one at the National, it showed the bidder usernames. So it actually did show, who is who, and there's a chat feature, to where you can actually talk to each other, I suppose, in each auction. Is that good? That's staying?
Yeah, that's totally there. I think it's important whenever, I think it's important, first of all, for our industry is about community. And I think that people want to interact with other people. And, having the chat feature on every auction and every live for us is important because we want people interacting with each other. Some people will just be talking smack, and other people will actually make intelligent points, about a product. Like, I'll give an example. Let's say you're the consigner of a rare Michael Jordan card. It's a Pop 16, and we have it up for auction. And we're stating the Pop, right? but they might come in on the chat and say, listen, this card is not graded as a 10 in 2 years. Now that's just, not only is it a Pop 16, but basically they stopped giving out PSA 10s in this card. And that's an additional piece of information that somebody can make in the chat. And now maybe somebody will be willing to go $50 higher than they were previously, so they can add a lot of value. Or you can just talk smack and have a good time.
I like that because obviously that's an innovation, I would say, on the auction house side. I can't think of another auction house that has that sort of an option. And I think it adds to the fun. And as a content creator, it also gives me ideas on different ways of creating content around specific auctions. I think that would be a lot of fun. And another thing I saw you mention too is that you guys are going to need to approve, kind of on the authenticity side of things. You guys are approving each listing, which I think is really interesting because we see a lot of bogus listings out there.
Yeah, we have two types of bidders, but we also have two types of sellers. So we have what's called a super seller. A super seller is somebody who, with confidence, we know that they can post whatever they want, whenever they want, without drama. So a new guy comes into me, we don't know who he is. He wants to send us, an unopened sealed case of Pokemon, right? We don't know who he is. So we have to pre-approve that item before it goes live on the platform. Or a guy has a collection of autographs. We've never heard of him, even though they're, let's say, UDA, there are fake UDA certs out there. That person has to be pre-approved, and those items have to be pre-approved before they go live on the platform. So we have authenticity both on the front end and the back end. And once somebody is a super bidder, they'll obviously maintain that status as long as there's no drama on their items. And we think that that's important. But back real quick, there was one point I wanted to make about showing the bidder ID on the bidding. So we think that it's important that you know who you're interacting with. But at the same time, if a guy's buying up all the Jordan rookies on the market, I should not have access to seeing that information and seeing his whole bidder history and everything he purchased and how much he paid. So all that information is now private. You'll be able to see sellers, everything that they sold, and all the detailed information of those transactions. But when somebody's a bidder and they're buying, you will not be able to do a case study on their purchase history.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Unless, I guess, the bidder discloses in the chat, like, "Hey, I'm buying all these," or
that's fine. If you want to go that route, then that's fine. And there will be people who'll be like, "Dude, get out of my way. I'm winning this." But that's the person's decision. But I don't think that you should be able to go into somebody's data and see their buying history and be able to figure out exactly what they're willing to pay for things. I just don't see the benefit in that.
Now, on the back end, do you guys have a way to kind of monitor if somebody is trying to set up multiple accounts? It sounds like you've already kind of fixed the part of just being kind of public facing and the difference between, I guess, the mega bidder and then the regular bidder. But what if somebody, I guess, is trying to work it a little bit where they've got multiple accounts and trying to, I guess, manipulate that way, by using different accounts.
Yeah. So we will have access to IP addresses and to be able to detect things on the back end that people don't have access to seeing. But also our bidding process itself, we have 3-tier bidding. And the 3-tier bidding should prevent a lot of the shill bidding. And I'll give an example. So the three-tier bids are next bid, max bid, and then Snype, which obviously the site is named for, the domain is named for, snype.com. Which we're the only site currently that is giving people the Snype feature. You can snipe on a regular auction, or you can snipe on a live, which nobody has that feature currently. So where this, I think, will prevent a lot of the shill bidding nonsense is that next bid is obviously pretty obvious. We'll give people options, 3 options that they can just click a button and bid the next tier. Then on top of that, there's a thing called a max bid. So why would somebody max bid versus Snype? So let's say you have a whole bunch of Pokemon cards, one card, and they're all $1,000, right? Now, and we built this feature because this is how people sort of act in our industry. So rather than, having the person bid $800 right away and it just sits there and you don't know what's going on and you just see this sort of high ceiling. And then when you bid, you're chasing this unknown, right? So we gave them the ability. They can bid the $800 on a $1,000 item because they want to get it going, but there has to be an underbidder that comes in, and then you can see the bidding war with the transparency of the bids. And then somebody who's legitimately trying to win the item, they can snipe. So the snipe will hit with 2 seconds left, and it's a recurring snipe. So we have a snipe with extended bidding. So you snipe $1,000, the item's at $600. You can win it for $650 if there's no underbidder. Or if it keeps going in extended bidding, your snipe will keep coming back with 2 seconds left and cause it to go back into extended bidding, which is a 15-second reset, which we'll see when we do the demo.
So if let's say two people snipe at the same time, and it's 1,000 and 1,050 are the two snipe bids, does it go then to 1,050 and then there's a 15-second timer?
So I think I don't have our increments memorized, but I think the increment at 1,000 is $25. So let's say you snipe at 1,000 and Joe snipes at $1,002, which doesn't cover the increment, right? So normally you have to hit the next bid increment for it to go to the next level. You will actually, the winner of the 1,002 will beat the $1,000 bidder. So we make the bid increments disappear if there's a snipe that's higher. So 1,002 will win the auction on $1,000, even though it doesn't exceed the $25 increment at that price level.
Okay. All right. This is going to be one of those things that I've got to see in action. I think it's going to be repetition, just actually seeing it work. It's going to be fun, though. I just like the idea that you've got multiple ways to try to strategize, because that's what a lot of this platform got me thinking about is, man, you can strategize a lot of different ways. And you also just mentioned too, there's regular auctions, and did I hear correctly? There's also kind of a live selling element as well, similar to what
it's a full live marketplace, just like Whatnot,
Yeah.
And also more important than just in terms of like people figuring out the strategy, we designed this to be an entertainment platform. We're making this enjoyable in terms of who you're interacting with. We're making the bidding experience fun. Watching things going to extended bidding is fun, and we made the user experience. It's really simple. It's clean, and we think that people are going to really, really enjoy the process. And sellers are going to benefit from extended bidding. If you don't think that on an $80 item or a $200 item or a $2,000 item, it's going to make a difference having extended bidding on everything. It will definitely make a big difference.
Absolutely. Let's talk about fulfillment, because to me, this is, again, a massive, massive reason why I wanted to work with you on this too, because it was such a no-brainer. For sellers, let's first start with sellers fulfillment. Why is this so important for sellers compared to some of the other options, platform options? And then we can talk about buyers as well.
Yeah, so we're an international marketplace. Currently, I think about 30 to 40% of our consigners are international.
Wow.
And one of the primary reasons why they use this is just it's much easier to have us handle one package than them shipping all across the country. And this is where we got the concept from. So now, whether you're international or national, so let's say you're some dude in Des Moines, Iowa, you're going to have 100 auctions. They can be live or regular, end on a Sunday night. All you do is pack up one package and you ship it to us, and you're done. Whereas normally you sell on another platform, you sell 100 items. The next morning you're shipping 50 to 75 different packages to different people. So it's really going to be very attractive to breakers, to people moving large amounts of inventory, and to people who are just sort of like not professional sellers in the sense that they like selling here or there, or they like enjoying doing lives, but they don't enjoy doing the shipping the next day, where it's just not exciting for them.
Right. I mean, it could eliminate a lot of small businesses that are live sellers that might have to, maybe they do enough volume to where they actually have to hire somebody for shipping. And that's a huge expense. If you think of you're a one-man show, one-woman show, and you've got to hire a shipper, that's a big decision to make, to kind of scale your business. This is a way to save a lot of time and money.
And you don't have to do the customer service too. Now for bidders, this is where we think that this is going to be the difference maker on the platform. Let's say you're just a normal bidder, somebody who's spending, maybe they're winning 40 items a month, right? A little bit more than one item a day. They go in there, they're a recreational bidder, they're a collector, they're an investor. They win 40 items a month. They're probably paying $200 a month just on shipping. With us, they have a 30-day window to combine everything on the platform that they want from any different seller. And now they're going to be paying maybe $20, a month for shipping. So, the cost savings is just going to be extraordinary for just the regular bidders. And then the people who are, professional buyers who are buying hundreds of items because they're doing repacking or they're doing mystery boxes and they're just, they're winning 100 items all the time. These guys are actually paying hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars in shipping fees because they're winning a card from this guy and a card from this guy and a card from this guy. And it's all on the same platform. And they're paying shipping fee. They don't even realize the thousands of dollars that they're spending on shipping. And now they can just say, listen, I won 300 items this month, put it in one package, and they're done.
Yeah. Highly convenient for sure. So that, to me, that is a major differentiator. Let's talk about fees because we're talking about shipping fees. You had mentioned, and we had talked about this, going back in time a little bit. There's going to be introductory fees that are very, very attractive. So let's talk about the introductory fees. And then I guess my question on the back end of those fees, when you kind of move off of the intro fees and we move to kind of more of a regular fee structure, have you made a decision yet on what that's going to look like? Will it be comparable to other auction houses, other options, or are you trying to kind of find a line between these companies and yourself?
It's going to be better than your other options. Meaning, you sell the same card for the same price on our platform versus somebody else, you're going to make more money. And we're going to make the fees attractive that even if it's sold for $2 less or $5 less, you're going to still make more money on our platform. Initially, any item over $1,000 you're going to get 97%, so just a 3% fee, and there's no buyer's premium. So many of the big auction platforms have a buyer's premium, which changes how you understand your rate deal. And then we have other platforms that we all bid on where there isn't a buyer's premium. But our rates deal for sellers will be more economical than any platform option that you have out there. Then an item under $1,000, and this is the real tremendous savings. So you sell an item for $200, we're basically charging you 5%. So you're going to net $190 in your pocket, which is extraordinary. And we're going to do this as an introductory offer. Items under $25 will be 15%. We are trying to, be a little bit higher up in terms of the product that we're accepting on the platform. On lives, everything will start at $25, and on regular auctions and the regular platform, they'll start at $10. And that's whether you're selling your own item, whether you're doing your own live, whether you're consigning to us, whatever you're doing. Those are going to be the rates. So people will make the same rates, on one way or the other.
One question I have, and I think what a lot of people are going to be thinking is, okay, Rick's setting up this new platform, but there's other platforms that have been around for a long time. They've got the eyeballs, So the one question I had was, and I know that you mentioned this to me before, but you have a lot of clients that you're working with that will be working with you on this, on the consignment side, on the selling side. What about, I guess, just kind of pushing out? And I get your newsletter, so as a buyer, I think a lot of I bought a lot from you. I get the newsletter that comes out with different items.
Yeah.
Is that the plan, I guess, kind of just getting buyers onto the platform? I guess I'm just curious around different marketing things. Other than
it's really a twofold plan for us. I mean, we have other ideas too that we're going to drive eyeballs into the platform. And eyeballs are really important to the success of the platform. So we have our own database, our own emails, our own personal relationships. I've been doing this my entire life. So we have a large database that people will be connecting with. We have an email list that we send things to, etc. But more importantly, we are really opening up affiliate marketing to everybody who's a buyer and a seller on the platform. So let's say you're a consignor coming from Germany. You have a user group of 300 close friends that are all buying and selling Pokemon. You can now send links out to your friends, and they buy anything on the platform, a watch, a card, anything, a helmet. You're making money. And we think that this is going to be really important and crucial to the growth of the platform, where we're giving everybody is important in terms of driving eyeballs onto the platform.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Love it. All right. So let's go to the demo phase. Do you want to go ahead? You can go ahead and share screen and we can actually visualize this thing. I do have a clip that I've been sharing from the National, but I think this will be a little bit more updated. We can look at it again.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yep. I can see it. It is there.
Okay. So all the auctions have Instagram type of videos.
Auction is an awesome 2009 Yankees World Series baseball signed by the core four.
Is really important. Then obviously we talked about it before. Everybody has chat. You can talk smack with people, or you can a really important comment that's crucial to the auction. Other platforms have an 80 character limit. We actually have a 200 character limit. So normally, if I would sell this item on another platform, I wouldn't be able to get all their full names in. I would probably be able to get maybe like this much. So 200 characters makes for better search. We have a minute left here. We have 3-tier bidding, and you'll see that the bidding war. So next bid is pretty obvious. Max bid is somebody who wants to get the thing going, but probably isn't trying to win it. Then Snype is boom, I'm going to come in and try and win this whole thing. So now you see right now the bids are coming in because somebody also put in a max bid, and you're seeing the bidding war, and you're seeing the full IDs of the people. Now we're down to 37 seconds. When the auction gets to 15 seconds, then you're basically entering the extended bidding period, and then the snipes will occur with 2 seconds left. Now you can see my max bid and my snipe, but normally nobody will be able to know what your max bid and your snipe is, and they won't even know how you're bidding. So they won't know whether they're going against a live person or if they're going against a sniper. Right, here we go.
Okay.
So now you can see the extended bidding here, and you'll see my bid. I'm in second place right now. With 2 seconds left, my bid should hit. Boom. Now we're in extended bidding. Now let's just go to the outside screen real first. You can actually watch from the outside. You can see the items that you've bid on, and you can actually see the hourglass dipping down, and boom, it reset. So you can watch it from the outside.
Okay. And every seller, Rick, that video of you with the baseball there, kind of talking about the baseball, can every seller, like say I'm selling something on Snipe, I can go ahead and make a video and upload it that same way?
Yeah, everybody will have full video capability. Okay, now it's verifying through. Okay. Hold on. Okay, here we go. It's an extended bidding. And for all the consignments that we're receiving, we're making full video. So on the more expensive items, you'll get maybe some sort of hype and promotion. And then on, let's say, a $50 slabbed item, you'll maybe get just like a 4-second video that just lets you see the case much better than you get on a normal scan. But currently, everything that we have on the platform has videos on it.
I'm assuming too of sellers, they'll use the 200 characters, and my guess is they'll use the chat probably to explain more. Is that what you're thinking? Like throw in some more tidbits?
Or it's just that people are going to be into the chat. They want to see the dialogue, what's going on. So like, let's take for this example, this ball. I can make a point. Andy Pettit hasn't done a card show signing in 3 years, and these balls have actually dried up and are pretty scarce. There's not a lot on the market. And you make that a point in the chat, boom, now this ball might go for another $25 than it did previously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. We're still in the extended bidding. We got a real bidding war going on here. I think it's going to ride through pretty quickly because my snipe isn't much higher than this, but let's see where this thing goes to. I'm bidding against a guy named Ted Williams.
$100.
I think this is going to probably ride through right now. I think my snipe is going to supersede his snipe. And I think we're at $10 increments. So maybe this will end at 110. Boom. 110. And now it should ride through.
The suspense.
Yeah.
So the 112 won it.
Yep.
110, I guess.
Yeah. And now I can go back and I can like talk smack to people and I can just be like whatever I want to say. I could taunt them. So what we really tried to do is create a very simple, user interface here. Very prominent on Instagram type of videos on the listings. Very big in terms of search and promotion here. Full transparency in the bidders. Chat, so you get that interaction. And then you get a little bit of an entertainment with the extended bidding, watching it go back and forth.
Now, are you going to have a function, Rick, like sold listings, where people can look?
Yeah, you're going to see all the data will be totally there.
Okay. So you can look and see like, okay, a ball similar to this sold a couple months ago.
The entire platform, you'll be able to see every transaction. Now let me show you, we've been loading auctions in. So a lot of other sites, they're very drop-down centric. So here we are on the production site. These are sample auctions that will launch in November that we're starting to load things in. Now, a lot of the other sites are really sort of designed where they're very drop-down centric, where they ask you, is the card graded? Who's it graded by? What's the grade? And it really makes the posting process very painful. And also the search process too, where you're having to click a million categories to find what you want. I go to Google every day, I search. I never have to hit drop downs to find what I'm looking for. So we've designed it similarly. Let me just do a search for, there's Pokemon, 107 items currently. Let's say I'm looking for something sealed, down to 47 items. No, I don't want just sealed. I want a case. Boom, 13 items. And then you come in here. Every item has a video, and this will be very important for when you're selling unopened product, where we have most of the drama in our industry.
Yeah.
And now you're going to have full confidence because you're going to get to see exactly how the tape lines up. You get to see the full box, and it should really, help the selling process. And then let me just do one more search for you, just so you can see how our sort of auctions are going to be. So here's just a Jordan rookie and a 1. Nice big bulky description where you're getting, normally you wouldn't get that up there. And then everything has a video.
Michael Jordan rookie and a 1. Okay, this is a kind of card. It's a must-have in every collection. Okay, so if you can't afford a 10, I got you, but you got to get a 1. This card has obviously visible corner wear, and there is a crease going right down. In terms of 1s, this is actually pretty nice. Let's take a look.
Okay, so you're getting an Instagram type of video with every listing, and then obviously once this launches, there'll be full chat, there'll be extended bidding, all the features. And this item here, you see the icon exclusive. This is a super bidder only auction, and only vetted buyers will be able to participate in this auction. Some guy who we don't know who it is can't fly in with 2 feedback and destroy the auction by not paying.
Got it. Okay. Now, how are you guys planning to handle non-paying, buyers? Is there a 3 strikes you're out? Is it like, how are you planning to?
Well, if you're a super bidder, and you don't pay for whatever reason, you will lose your status as a super bidder
After one time.
One time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So So that's it's zero tolerance, pretty much.
No, my dog ate the homework, and it's just like, I win hundreds, if not thousands, of items. I've never not paid for anything. It's like we're going to give them a fair warning, and they might receive 2 or 3 emails in terms of like, warning or a text in terms of like the payment is due. But if you're a super bidder and you're a pre-approved vetted bidder and you don't pay, you're going to be out as a super bidder. You'll lose that status.
All right, perfect. Well, we've given a lot of information here today. So one thing I want to just throw out to viewers, if you have questions around the platform, anything that was not answered today, put them in the comments section. Rick and I are planning to be back again next week, and we can tackle those questions. If there's anything from a UI standpoint, functionality, and that's where we can answer them on that next show. Rick, is there anything else that you wanted to add in this week for the platform?
One of the questions we're getting all the time, I just showed you obviously a desktop demo, but it's full feature on your phone and Android, and there's an app and all that stuff. So there'll be regular auctions, there'll be live auctions. You can bid on your desktop, you can bid on your phone, whatever's most convenient for you.
Great stuff. Well, I'm excited. This is obviously an innovative platform in the space. where frankly, there's not always lots of innovation in the sports card world, or it takes time to get there. So this is something that's going to be different from everything else. Excited to use it. Rick, thanks for coming on, and we'll be back. Most likely, the plan is to be back next week.
Really appreciate the time, Dustin. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, man. Talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye.